Hello and welcome. Get my thumb in the view. I'm your host, Elizibar. We're going to talk about the If 2017 Anthology. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce the name, like it's themed for crime. And if we flip through to here, you know, you can just see If 2017 first printing. So, I guess it's the 2017 first printing. By the way, I love people that actually put, like, this kind of stuff where it's supposed to go at the start of the book. I hate when I'm opening up a book, whether it's a comic book or something, and the publication information is not at the beginning. It should be in the front matter. Like, Marvel used to do this perfectly. It would be on the front page right when you open their comic books. Just here. Modern comics, you have to go hunting through, and maybe it's on the last page. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. That's total side matter. Here's Alterna Comics swag, just because Peter Simeti is made of those bags. But anyway, that's also neither here nor there. This is a book by Alterna, hence why I'm showed Alterna. Hence I'm up Peter Simeti. And it's a crime anthology. There's a lot of crime stories. You can see here like a bank robbery is happening. This story was okay. That's a guy getting revenge. A lot of words. It was way too wordy, I think. Words are kind of amateur hour when it comes to writing. This story I thought was a complete waste of space. Nothing happens. You got guys, they're hanging out at the bar. There's gunfire and it, car chase. Like, this is all build up and stuff happens and there's no payoff. You get to the end and it's a three-way standoff on the roof because we wanted the ending to be like the good, the bad, and the ugly. And it's just a complete waste of my time. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like this story either. Got a, like, serial killer ghost killing people, cyborg thing. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't feel like it fit the rest of the anthology too well. It's definitely, like, meant to be a superhero story starting somewhere. One story I did like, and this was the first one that I really liked. I loved this story. Pat Shand, great story. The art was competent through the whole thing, so good work there. The lettering was unobtrusive, like it was just there. It told the story it needed to tell. There's two creators here, and Manuel Pretano. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your names. Everybody in this book, just I apologize for getting that wrong, because it's going to happen. But there's two creators here, but there's only one writer, and the artist is not one of the creators, so I don't know if this is like a character that shows up in other stories. But I really like this. First time you see her, she's working in a coffee shop, and she's got to serve tea to this lady, and the lady's like, no, you don't know how to do it, I want the other guy. She ambushes her in the alley. It's great stuff. Then we flash back to like her childhood, and when she killed a guy. So we can see she's like not a good person, but she wants to change. And that's how it ends, basically. She couldn't kill this guy here, like 10 years ago. And she can't kill this lady here. She got help. She wants to be a good person. This was really good. It's a nice little redemption type story. I really loved it. Now look at the expression on the old lady's face. Like, look at this. Haughty. Oh, you were about to knife me, but I'm still going to be stuck up. And then the little smirk on her face right here. I hope that's in focus. Like, this is just great. This is just fantastic stuff. This one, not like you know, we're just gonna skip that one because it wasn't that great. We're gonna go to my next mark I planned. Yeah, look at this. I actually kind of planned talking points instead of just flipping through a book mumbling. This was a pretty cool story. So it's like this Irish, well, he's probably American, but he's like descended from the Irish. So I'm gonna go with like this Irish guy. I don't even remember his name. It has to be like a story from another series, like from the pages of Enforcer. Like, I actually want to go read this thing now. You guys, this is good stuff. The arts, maybe it's like super squiggly or something. I don't know. There's something about the art that's not completely appealing, but it's good enough. Like, it does its job. It feels like something that Dark Horse would have published in the 90s, I guess. That's what the art feels like. I apologize for the sniffle. It's going to happen. I don't know. I feel like I'm fighting off a little bit of a cold. So that kind of thing's just going to happen. So anyway, this guy's this enforcer. And he lives in a supernatural world. It's like the film noir version or something of like the Shadowrun universe. So it's like trying to interrogate goblins to find this troll because the troll ate somebody. Like, they have a great fight. And at the end, you know, guy's like, hey, I got a job. And then we're setting up something else. So, to be continued in Enforcer Tough Luck number 1. I don't know where to buy Enforcer Tough Luck number 1. I wish I did. I'd probably go buy it. Here's another one of these stories that just kind of felt like a waste of time. You got a guy, he's wandering, gets to a gas station, he's like sleeping outside or maybe at the office desk or something. It's not really clear because the background's really rough right there. Guy goes to run him off, they argue, he's gonna go call the cops. At first I thought, like right here, I thought he was gonna like take a leak on the guy's stuff, but no, it's much worse. He just blows up the gas station. Why? What was the point? This story I'm not going to get into. It's pretty good. It's a boxing crime story. You should probably know what to expect, just based on that. Like, you've seen that story played out enough. Like, but it's there. Yeah. I was looking at my marker. My marker's here for the last page of that story. I don't know, maybe I just like the sign. The lettering was great in it. The art was great in it. Like, I just don't want to talk about the story because it's a story that I've seen so many times. This one, I didn't care for the art too much. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Like, the art's not doing it for me, but the writing was great. I didn't see the ending coming. It's like in the future, there's no crime. And so future cops don't really know how to deal with the crime. So they call in a retired detective. It's like Demolition Man. It's like, I thought, oh, we're getting into like some Demolition Man stuff. We're going to have like 15 pages of good stuff. And then it ended with that. I spoiled the story. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist it. Let's see, where's my next marker? This one? The Guild. Oh, yeah. So this one was pretty good. I'm just going to talk about the setup of it, and then I'm going to talk about some art. So the setup is this guy is like the DA or the prosecuting attorney or something, and you got these dudes arrested. One of them was executed. The others are on the verge of getting executed, and then stuff happens. Like, he gets kidnapped. He was going to go hang out with his mistress at his like place out in the woods or whatever. At least I guess it's his mistress. But here's the problem. Here's the problem. I couldn't tell that this guy was this guy, was this guy, was this guy. I guess the exaggeratedly large ears should have given it away, but the art was fine, but I couldn't tell who was who all the time. I'm bouncing the camera. This gotta be disorienting. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna talk anything else about the story. Like, that's my critique of the art there. I really like this little one-pager. All right. We're gonna spoil this. I'm sorry. We gotta spoil this. So, you know, it's like some cops. It's called Hard Boiled. They're outside of the chicken bucket. All right. You know. Oh, yeah, so it was apparently like the mascot or something. He spent 4 hours twirling a cardboard sign. Besides, he didn't even see the car coming. Why do you think that? His peripheral vision would have been blocked? Oh, makes sense. Why did he cross the road? He's got a chicken suit. Oh, my God. This is so cheesy. This is great. Chaz Pangborn, I love it. Claire Connolly. Like, I would have given this art like a harsher critique, but this like just got such a big laugh out of me at the end. I can't be mad at it at all. The last thing on the list. This is a great story. Little old lady. She's going down her bucket list. Shoot, I just spoiled the story. I really like this story. God, this is so hard. Like, I'm trying not to spoil everything in the book that I like, but it's like I want to show you the good stuff. Like, this is a great little story. Anytime these stories, you know what? Let's go through this story, okay? So, little lady, she hands a note over. She's grinning. The note, give me the money. She gets the money. The security guard's like, hey, what? The lady's gone. She knocks over the little garbage can. He falls. She just robbed a bank. And the cops catch the old lady. Look at her. She's just grinning. It's like, sweet old lady. Why'd she do it? Well, bucket list. And the cops, he's just like, yeah. And she's just so happy. I love this. This was great. The art was appealing. The art represented, like, you could tell who was who. And it was just great. I think I really would have liked to have seen this in color, actually. And who wrote it? Thomas Favino? Well, you did a great job. And the illustrator, Ross, you did a great job as well. I loved it. This might be my favorite story out of the whole thing. I don't know. It's a tight one compared to that one I showed earlier with the woman who was trying to get out of her life of crime. Some of these stories, like, these stories are great when there's a point to them. But some of them, there's no point. It's like, you get to the end, like, here, we got this guy, he's Jack the Ripper, and he's building a Frankenstein, and then we're done. That's it for the story. This one is just all like, oh, there's a big payoff at the end that you probably saw coming if you've been paying attention. This one was cool because it was like sci-fi. It's kind of like that other... Oh, sorry, I just covered my microphone. It's kind of like that other story set in the future where there's no crime. Like, it's the same kind of idea. I liked this one because of the setting, and I really liked the way the art looked. And I think that's why I put it on this page. Like, I really liked the way the art looked in this story. I guess I can flip through. That was the end of the story, so you have no idea what the setup was or anything. Like, I just really liked the way this looked. I'm not even going to talk about the contents of the story beyond what I did. This was a great story, too. Maybe this is where I meant to put that up, the marker that we just looked at. But this was a great story. It's basically a Dr. Seuss crime story. I'm only going to show this first page. You can get the idea of what it's like. This was fantastic. Great work, all of you. The lettering was fantastic. The art was very Seussian. And the writing was very Dr. Seuss. Like, this is not easy stuff. This is not easy stuff to do. There's a lot of stories like this one. This was trying too hard. I think there's several like that. This one, kind of in the same vein. Like, this at least had a really good payoff, the olive. This had a great payoff at the end of it. I like that. Let's just get to my next marker. I couldn't... It's really hard to do this when I've got one hand, you know? Because I'm holding the camera. I'd wear the head cam, but it doesn't seem like I get close enough that you can actually really see things when I do that. This was a really sad story. Maybe my third favorite story. I detest the art, but yeah, so it's a really sad story. It's this little girl, and her and her friends like killing animals. A morbid joy for all things macabre. And they progress from there. Like here, they're just drawing it. They're squishing ants. And it goes from there. So we were the outcasts. And I guess if I approach this, like, looking at this like this is supposed to be a children's book or something, then the art makes more sense. But in that case, I want to see this in color. Specifically, I want to see this in watercolors. I think that would fit the mood really well. Imagine, like, those hands kind of like that washed out, faded watercolor red kind of look. Like, I think that would be a really powerful way to do this. Otherwise, these doodles aren't that much better than doodles I would do, and that kind of offends me. Oh yeah, another superhero story over here. This one was better than that first one with the cyborg killer or whatever it was going on. I'm not really sure. Because this guy, he's like imagining like the people that are chasing him, and then you find out, oh, twist ending, lol, superhero, JK. Spoiler. Good art in that story, by the way. Like, I don't want to diss it. And What It Takes. Is this the last story I wanted to look at? Oh yeah, this is a great story. It's a story about a writer. Writers seem to like writing about writers. It's like movie makers make movies about making movies, or playwrights make plays about making plays. Like, it is very familiar. You're supposed to write what you know, and that's what this is all about. The whole point of this is the writer, was that his name there? William Stahl? It must have been him. He puts everything he's ever done, but eventually he runs out of stuff to write about, so he's got to come up with something. And so he starts having really bad thoughts, and spoiler, the end, we're not even going to look at it. I'm not going to spoil the end of the book for you, sorry. But it's a great, horrible ending. I think I got the sci-fi anthology somewhere, but I don't have the superpowers. Why don't you get that? All in all, let's look here at the deets, so you can see the deets. Mature readers, definitely crime is the topic. I love that Alterna puts that on the back of their books. That is great. Look at all these names. These are people that worked on this book, contributed to it. There's 300-something pages here, and for the most part, most of these stories, like I'd say half of these stories I really liked. A couple were absolute standouts. This one with the girl who doesn't want to, I guess she's the lady by the time, like in the present, like Destiny, New York, different this time. This was just great. That one with the Irish mobster thing going on, also just really great. Like, I want more of that story. Oh yeah, here's another like superhero revenge thing, and it just didn't do anything for me. That's why I didn't talk about it. But since I flipped through it, I ended up talking about it anyway. Yeah, this Enforcer story is pretty good. I'm gonna forget all about tracking down that book, but I want to go track down that book, if that makes any sense. Like, there were 3 or 4 great stories in here. There were a dozen pretty good stories that I enjoyed a lot. And then there was, most of the rest were just kind of like, yeah, that was a story. And there was only a couple that I didn't actually care for that much. And it's an anthology. You're going to have stories that you like, stories that you don't like, and everything that's in between. I would definitely say this was worth the $14.95 that this cost me. I think I bought this at the Madison Mighty Comic Con. I say that like I don't have a video on my channel somewhere showing me like the day I bought this, right? So anyway, you guys have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. I would recommend this to anybody who likes crime stories. Like, this should be a no-brainer purchase. There's a lot of value here for the 15 bucks. It took me, how long did it take me to read this thing? Crime scene. Oh, actually, it's not even crime scene. Crim scene. It probably took me 5 hours, I think, to read. Like, this is a better deal than a movie ticket. I guess that's my point. This is a better deal than a movie ticket. There's a lot of good stuff in here, a little great stuff. Just do it. Stop watching this video right now. Go to Amazon or go to the Alterna website and just buy this thing. Just buy it right now. That's my recommendation. You all have a great day. Probably just covered up the microphone. Until next time, bye-bye.